Welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Colin Murdy, and today's topic is new tools. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported the company so far. If you haven't got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's MURDY creative.co. Or you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching at murdycreative.co to see the best of our product shots. Follow us to keep up to date with our daily photos and be the first one to know about new product launches. You can also use the subscribe button at the bottom of our website to be included in all of our new product announcements. Be sure to check out our laser engraving, personalization options, and exclusive colors on the website, or you can get a blank one on Amazon Prime. All right, so we have been working on a lot of new building internally as far as the company goes. It started, I think, in early COVID in March of last year. I think what COVID really did for us and did to us was it forced us to think about how can we improve the internals of the company? How can we reinforce and reorganize the way we do things so that they are streamlined, they're organized to the very best way they could be done, and that'll allow us to obviously weather any storm. So we obviously been getting the press in, doing new clicking dies and all sorts of cool things along those lines, but one new tool that is a little more complicated, but very vitally important, I'm discovering, was a new profitability analysis. So we had always kind of thought when we initially had built out the inventory management system that one of the things it could do, theoretically, was create accurate per order costing analysis. So one of the advantages of the system is that the way it works functionally is it goes and it looks up each SKU when an order comes in. It goes, finds the components that go into that SKU, and then it deducts them from the inventory system. At the same time, it's very easy to say, okay, we know what those parts cost, and we can then create an accurate SKU level cost of each item sold. This is something we've never done before. When you have that individual SKU cost, you can then plug that into a system that analyzes the orders, figure out the way the revenue is laid out, and then you can actually figure out what the average cost of goods sold is, just the raw material costs, when you are organizing your sales, right? So you can see on a daily basis. Not only that, but you can actually build into the system a rough draft of your fixed costs, which can sometimes fluctuate. So, take for what it is. Fixed costs are not always quite so fixed. However, you can add in things that would otherwise be organized in such a way that you could easily tell what they are, right? So your costs that are not necessarily related to sales, I should say. You can type those in and you can figure out on a daily basis how much did you actually spend in the raw materials associated with your production, and then how much without all of the labor costs and overhead and utilities and all the other stuff that goes into running the business. Take those out. What was your actually day-to-day profit? This is a really important tool for us, and actually it's really changed the way in the few days that it's been functioning, the way I've started to look at things. And here's why. When I started the company, I had a rough draft in my head of what I wanted our profit margins to be. They were vastly underestimated. I did not realize how much additional cost was going to go into scaling the business. I didn't realize that when we got to the size that we are, we would not be nearly as efficient as we were when it was one person doing this on the weekends, right? When you're one guy working on the weekends, filling boxes out of your apartment, it's not like there's a lot of overhead costs. But the bigger you get, the more complicated you get, the more your structure and organization has to be, robust, the more expensive it gets just to run the organization, just on a day-to-day basis. And now we've added enough team members, and this was a big part of this process, that if any one of our team members got sick or took a vacation, the company would still be able to keep going with no problem. If two of our members got sick or took a vacation, we could probably keep going for a little while. Now, you may say to yourself, well, that's how every business should run. It's not so obvious, right? When you are running a small business, there's a lot of, at the level we are right now, there's a lot of different people who work on different parts of the organization, and we've gotten to a point now where there are things that I don't even necessarily know how to run, or there are little day-to-day operations things that I just don't know how to do. And it's not because of any sort of lack on my part or lack of education on my teammates' part. It's just that they've been building out tools for themselves that are just making the system better. And I don't necessarily know how to use them because I didn't build them. So having that additional team member, having those extra people are really helpful in creating a nice, stable organization. However, they increase the costs and the admin costs because obviously labor functionally for us, for the most part, is a fixed cost. There is a little bit of give and take on some of the hours, but not much. For the most part, all of our people basically work the same number of hours every week, regardless of whether we have orders or not. So the burden is now on me to create enough orders to keep them busy. And there's a lot of advantage to the profitability analysis in what it can tell us, but specifically one of the pieces that has been the most insightful to me is it's actually giving us an honest answer as to how profitable are we as a company. And you may say, well, that seems like a pretty straightforward question. It is and it isn't. Because you've got problems so there's the concept. So, okay, let's go back a little further. There's a concept of true profitability, and then there's a concept of theoretical profitability. And functionally, they're both important. So true profitability is, at the end of the day, how much money is actually in the bank account left over after everything. That's true profitability. But that's somewhat misleading. Because, for example, if you have to spend a whole bunch on leather that you're buying now because it's a good season and you know you can, and you're going to spend that later, you're going to use that later during the slow season, well, month-to-month profitability may not look accurate in the sense of what it should be, because it may not tell the right picture, because your profitability could tank because you spent a whole bunch stocking up on inventory. Your profitability, if you do true profitability, is going to look really low this month and really good later when you consume all of those and you don't replace them. However, we haven't really had a good system for measuring theoretical profitability, which theoretical profitability and true profitability are about the same when you get on the macro scale. When you look really big picture, like a year or longer, your actual profitability and your theoretical profitability are pretty much, or they should be pretty close to the same, because all of those little subtle ups and downs that you bought extra of this or you didn't buy enough of this or whatever, all of those little things start to even out. But functionally speaking, you need both numbers, because the true profitability actually tells you how much cash is in the bank, and that matters a lot, because when you run out of that, you are in deep trouble, right? So that's a really important number, but it doesn't really help you make strategic decisions, because if you make all of your strategic decisions simply based on your cash flows, you're going to struggle to figure out actually how to solve the problem, because you may not necessarily know where your best drivers of margin and all those other things are. So this new tool has been able to tell us on a daily basis, what are we actually making in true profitability if we were just replacing the goods one-to-one? The good news is we're doing a lot better than I thought we were. Our actual cost of goods sold is 8 percentage points lower than I thought it would be. And that shocked me. That stunned me when that number kind of came up initially when we were doing the analysis. And I thought it was wrong at first. And I realized that part of the reason why I was so wrong is because I had been estimating, when I was doing our costing, I had been estimating that people were exclusively buying one of the most basic version of the product. And while that's a common thing, right? So that's definitely a good way to build the profit and the pricing analysis. That's very rarely the case. Almost always do people get some sort of engraving. Almost always do people add something or additional. They might get 2 or 3 items, right? All of those things shift the profitability pretty significantly, especially depending on the items. And so this is good news, right? When I've been curious for a long time now why we're doing month after month of what otherwise would have been break even, and we're still like slowly ticking upwards. And the answer, I guess, is that we've been doing, our cost of goods sold has been 8 points lower than we had thought it was in our analysis in the macro scale, and that's what's causing us to be able to be successful, regardless of the fact that we're not necessarily doing amazing as far as the bringing in tons of extra money on top of our break-even point. That being said, the most important part of the analysis that I think was, I didn't anticipate this initially, but it's a really key part of this, is we actually can see each and every order's true profitability, or I guess I should say theoretical profitability, at the order level, at the SKU level, right? We can see that this specific order cost us exactly this much in raw materials. Well, that actually tells us a lot of information about what products may be better to sell. Now, that actually matters really in a really key way, because now that we're bringing the cutting process in-house, we are less dependent and less, dependent's the right word. We're less we have a smaller requirement for what we keep on the shelf. And so we have less of a problem with our marketing selling what we want to sell rather than selling what we have. So because we can say, okay, we want to do specific marketing campaigns around specific products. In the old days, it was we need to do specific marketing campaigns around specific products because we have too much on the shelf. And that's inventory, that's money that's tied up in inventory that we need to liquidate. Now, when we're bringing the press process in-house and we cut in-house, we can say we're going to cut exactly what we need for the most part, and we're going to replace the leather 1-to-1 for the most part. So what are the things we should be selling? What are the products that are the best for margins or the ones that have the most versatility that are reasonably priced, right? Like, how do we create good selling products that can help make the company not just break even every month, but can actually continue to grow, which is obviously a big part of our push, right? 2020, we did not grow at all. I mean, we grew like 0.5%, but we need to be growing at a much stronger rate for us to continue to be able to maintain the current workforce that we have. So we need to be able to say, how can we push products or increase the sales of products of other types of products in our line? And more importantly, we are developing very, very hyper accurate costing analysis of our raw materials, which has been something that we have not been able to have up until this point because we didn't do the cutting in-house. So we had no way to measure waste. Now, because we are actually doing the cutting in-house, we can weigh the hides before they're cut, we can cut them, we can weigh the scrap after they're cut, and we can get an actual percentage of use of the hide in like a true accurate number. Then we can apply the size of the units, like the actual components. We can apply a percentage waste to those, knowing the square footage cost, and we can get a very accurate cost for each part. We can actually develop it in such a way that those will theoretically automatically feed directly into the system. And so in real time, our profitability analysis will be up to date with the most current and the most accurate cost for each item as it goes forward. And that'll allow us to be a lot smarter in how we make decisions. So tools like this are actually really key. I don't necessarily think they make sense for absolutely every business, but I think for our business specifically, it's incredibly helpful. And this is the kind of technological tools that we are hoping to continue to develop and advance and make the company run smarter because, we can't just always be lucky. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Be sure to check back in Thursday for our next topic. And don't forget to check that subscribe button below to be sure to get notified when we put out new podcasts. We do podcasts Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure to hit that subscriber, that bell, so you get notified. If you have any questions or concerns about your leather journal, binder, folio, accessory, anything we sell, contact us on the main page of our website, murdycreative.co. There's a contact form at the bottom of the page, or you can send us an email, sales, S-A-L-E-S, at murdycreative.co. You can also send us a DM on Instagram and Facebook. We do our best to read those. We had a lot of them, and some of them there's quite a bit of them that are junk mail. So if you don't get a response from us on those channels right away, I'm sorry, we're doing our best. Please be patient with us. If you got a quick question or a concern, feel free to contact us via text or phone call, 414-434-9001. You can call that number between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. If we don't get a hold of us, leave us a voicemail. We'll do our best to get back to you right away as soon as we can. That's 414-434-9001. It's great if you want to, update your address or you need to change your engraving or something like that came up, or you just got questions about the product. We're happy to help. If you want to leave us a good review, please do so on whatever app you're listening on. If you want to leave a review on the podcast app, or you can leave a nice comment in YouTube's comments. I like reading those; they're very fun. If you want to leave a review on the product, though, you can go to murdycreative.co/reviews, and there's a button there. You can read all of our amazing reviews. It's always wonderful. We love reading those. There's a button that says leave a good review. Click on that. It'll take you facebook.com/murdycreative.co/reviews. And you can type your review there. We like to use Facebook because that we're not making them up. Those reviews obviously always get read. We love them. They mean the world to us. If you would leave us a bad review, there is a button on that same page that gets you in direct contact with us. Please, please, please give us an opportunity to make it right. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter if there's something that went wrong. We want to fix it. We want to make it right. We want to make sure that you are happy with your purchase. So please contact us first. We'll do whatever we can to fix it. If you want to help share the company, sharing it with your friends and family is just the easiest way to do it. It really helps us a lot. You can go to the murdycreative.co page the very top, there's a button that says log in. If you log in, all you need to use is an email and a password. That creates an account. It's free. You get 5% back on any purchase you make when you're logged into your account. But more importantly, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's the rewards tab. You click on that, and that has a shareable link. That link, when you share it with your family and friends, gives them $5 off their first purchase, and it gives you $5 of in-store credit whenever they make that purchase. So it's a great way to share and share alike. It really helps the company. So we really appreciate when people do that. If you have any podcast topics you want to hear more about, send them my way. I'm always happy to discuss all sorts of topics. And frankly, it's hard coming up with topics all these weeks. So definitely feel free to send them. Leave them in the comments below. Send us an email. Anything you can do to get a hold of us. And we'll work on getting those talked about. If you are looking for bulk orders for any reason, any product we sell, all there is a minimum order quantity of 5. And that can be 5 of the one thing or 1 of 5 things. So it's mix and match. It's only based off the total cart quantity. So your bulk discounts begin at 5 and they go up from there. So there's a lot of great bulk discount options. Also, if you're looking for a custom order, reach out to us. sales@murdycreative.co. Send us your custom image and we can do custom engraving. We have no minimum order quantities on our custom engraving. And so that you can just get one. And then there's no setup fees either. So it's a flat fee, usually starting at $15. It can sometimes go up a little bit depending on how complex and large the engraving is, but it's usually about $15. And if you want to get a bulk order and a custom order, reach out to us. We can do that. We love doing that. It's great. And your actual fee for the engraving goes down with the quantity discount. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Goodbye.